This is Math Lesson 77, and today's date is Wednesday, May 6th, 2020. We're going to continue writing three-digit numbers using our base 10 blocks. Look at this number. $352. How many hundreds do you see in this number? You're right, 3 hundreds. How many tens are in this number? Good, 5 tens. And how many ones? 2 ones, right? Remember, the ones are always the furthest to the right. Ones, tens, hundreds. Very good. Well, what if I asked you to write this number using pictures? The base 10 block pictures. You've been doing this for the past couple of days on your guided practice, and you have done a fantastic job. It's really fun, isn't it? Let's just review very quickly for this number. What would it look like to draw a picture for 352? Well, for our 300s, we're going to draw a what? You're right, 100 flat, which is that fat square, right? So how many fat squares am I going to draw? 3 of them. Good. And then how many tens do I have? 5, so I'm going to draw those long, thin rectangles. How many of them? 5. 5 10 sticks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 350, how many unit cubes? 2. Tiny little squares or cubes. And that is the number 352 in pictures. Well, today we're going to do something a little bit different, guys. Today, you are going to have the picture in front of you, and you are going to write the 3-digit number that the picture is showing. So you're going to need lesson worksheet 77. So if you don't have that, please go get it quickly because we're going to do this together. So it looks like this. You have pictures of the base 10 blocks. All right, so put that paper in front of you. You will need a pencil. And let's get started. We're going to start with number 1. Look at that picture. How many 100 flats do you see in this number? 4. Very good. How many 10 sticks do you see? 2. And how many unit cubes? 6. Please write the 3-digit number that is shown in this picture. How many hundreds? How many tens? How many ones? Please write that number. Okay, you should have written the number, and I'm sure you did, 426. 426. Good job. Okay, let's do number 2. Okay, this one you can tell is going to be a smaller number. How can you tell? How do you know that this one will be smaller than number 1? By looking at the picture, right? Look, this is a fewer number of unit cubes or base 10 blocks than this one by quite a bit. So let's see what this number is. How many 100 flats? 2. Good. How many 10 sticks? There are 6 of them. And how many ones or unit cubes? 3. 2 hundreds, 6 tens, 3 ones. All right, let's write the 3-digit number that this picture shows. Go ahead. Okay, good. You should have written 2 hundreds, 6 tens, and 3 ones. And what number is that? 263. Good job, guys. You're getting the hang of this. Excellent. Okay, let's go to number 3. This one looks a little different. So if this was a big number, this was 426. This was about half that number, 263. Look at this one. It's definitely smaller than these two, isn't it? How many hundred flats do you have? 1. How many 10 sticks are here, guys? I don't see any 10 sticks, do you? Okay, that means we will not have any 10s. Numbers, 3-digit numbers, sometimes you won't have a 10. What do you do if you don't have 10 sticks? You write a 0. Very good. And then how many unit cubes? 8. All right, I'm going to give you a second to write that number. All right, so we had how many hundred flats? 1. How many 10s? 0. No 10 sticks. And how many 1s? 8. What number is that? 108, right? 108 ones, no 10s. That is the number 108, just 8 over 100. Excellent. Good job. All right, let's do number 4. Ooh, now we're going back up to a bigger number. How many hundred flats? 3. How many 10 sticks? 5 10s. And how many 1s or unit cubes? 0. None at all. Okay, so you will put a 0 in the 1's place. It's very important that you do put zeros when there is not a number present, 100s, 10s, or 1s. Put a 0 because otherwise your number will not end up right. Okay? All right, so number 4, you have 300 flats, 5 10 sticks, and 0 1s. Please write that number. Okay, your number should look like this: 300s, 5 10s, and 0 1s. What number is that? 350. Excellent. Good job. Okay, we're moving on along here. Number 5. Okay, here we have hundreds, 10s, and 1s, right? How many hundreds? 1. How many 10s? 5 and 2 1s. 152. Please write that number. Notice here you no longer have hundreds, 10s, and 1s. We're going to do the same thing. We're still writing 3-digit numbers. We're just not breaking it down into the hundreds, 10s, and 1s. So it's going to look like this. You have 100, 5 10s, and 2 1s. Looks just the same, doesn't it, guys? 152. Excellent. Okay, let's do number 6. Ooh, lots of hundred flats here. Not very many 10 sticks, and 1 tiny little unit cube. Now this is going to be an interesting number. I'm going to give you a second and see if you can figure out this number. Go ahead and write it over on the line. It's just a matter of filling in your hundreds, 10s, and 1s, and if something is missing, you just write a 0. Okay, so how many hundreds? 4. How many 10s? 0. And how many 1s? 1. What number do we have there? 401. Just 1 over 400. Good job. Okay, last one, number 7. You have 200 flats. Look at all of those 10 sticks. Count them. How many are there? There are 8 of them. Good job. Lots of 10s. 2 hundreds, 8 10s, and 0 1s. Please write that number. It is 280. Excellent. Good job, guys. This is fun both ways. It is fun to draw pictures for 3-digit numbers, and it's fun to look at the pictures and figure out what the 3-digit number is. Let's look at these numbers that you guys created. Which one of these numbers is the smallest? Which is the smallest? I hope you already have a number in your head. Let me give you a couple of hints though, just in case you don't, or even if you do, it's just a faster way of figuring this out. When you have the pictures and you want to know how many hundreds, what are you going to do? You can scan through these hundreds and look for the ones that only have the lowest number of hundreds. Look at this one, only 100 there and only 100 there. So that gives you a real clue, doesn't it? Or when you're looking at the 3-digit numbers, you just look at the hundreds place, right? Which of these numbers are the least? Well, of course, it's the ones. So you know that one of these two is going to be the least. Well, if you have 108 and 152, which one is the smallest? You're right, it is 108 because this number has no tens. This one has 5 tens, right? So I want you to put an L beside that 108 because that number is the least number of base 10 blocks. It's the smallest number. All right, so now we know the smallest number. What is the largest number? Look at the numbers you have left. Which one is the largest? Right, you could do this same thing again, couldn't you? You can look at these and say, okay, which of these numbers has the largest number of hundreds? Because that is going to tell us which is the biggest number. Well, this one has 4 hundreds, doesn't it? And this one down here has 4 hundreds. So that's a big clue. We can also look at the 3-digit numbers again and just look at that hundreds place. Which of these are the largest numbers, right? The 4s. So now let's compare the two. 426, 401. Which one is the largest number out of those two? Yeah, it's 426, isn't it? Because you have 2 tens here. Here you have 0 tens. So this is the greatest number out of all the numbers you wrote today. So we're going to write a G beside that for greatest. Okay, very quickly here, we're just going to quickly look at comparing numbers like we just did. I'm going to write some numbers on the board here. 279, 127, 160, 95, and 205, okay? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers here. Okay, can you see them all? All right, what we're going to do here is let's put these numbers in order from least to greatest. You guys do this a lot on your math papers. It's just a quick review of ordering numbers. Now we have 3-digit numbers. Well, like we just did on our worksheet, what number is the first number we're going to look at? If we want to know the smallest number and then move over to the greatest number, we're going to look at that hundreds place, aren't we? Because that is the first thing we're going to look at to determine which one is smallest and largest. So very quickly here, let's look at our hundreds place. Here we have how many hundreds? 2. How many hundreds? 1. 100. That's the same thing as having 100 flat, right? Do we have any hundreds in this number? No, we don't, because this is only a 2-digit number. So we don't even have a hundreds place. That's interesting. And how many hundreds in this number? 2. So if I want to know the smallest number or the least out of all these numbers, which one would it be? I hope you're pointing to the 95, right? because it doesn't even have a hundreds place. So we know that that is definitely our smallest number. So let's mark out the 95. I'm going to put that down here. Good. So we have 5 numbers. That is our first one. Which one would be next? You're going to look at your hundreds place. Remember, we're going least to greatest. Which one would be next? Well, these two on the outside begin with 2s, don't they? They have 200 flats. These two have how many hundred flats? Only 1. So we know that it's going to be one of these 2 numbers. So now, since our tens are this, since our hundreds are the same, we're going to look at what place? The tens place. This is kind of like when you're putting words in alphabetical order. If the first letter is the same, you move to the second letter, right? Same thing here. If you have the same number of hundreds, then you're going to look at your tens. Here we have 2 tens. Here we have 6 tens. Which one is the least out of those 2? This would have 2 10 sticks. This would have 6 10 sticks. Which one is the least? You got it. It's 127. That would be the next number from least to greatest. Okay, and of course we know that if this one came next, then this one would be our third number, correct? And now we have 2 numbers left, 279 and 205. Okay, same thing. We have 200 flats for both of them. So now we're going to look at the tens place. Here we have how many tens? 7. And here we have how many tens? 0. 0 10 sticks. So which one of those 2 is the least? You're right. It would be 205. And so we know we only have one number left. 279 is our greatest number. And that is putting those numbers in order from least to greatest. And let me show you very quickly. We talked about this in class before. Do you guys remember what this middle number is called? What do mathematicians call that middle number? When you put numbers in order from least to greatest, mathematicians call that middle number the median. Do you remember that? That is the median, the one in the middle. Good. Okay, now I want you to turn your paper over. So this paper that you just had, okay, I want you to turn over onto the back. And I want you to write 5 lines on the back using your pencil, just like I did on the board, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 lines, just like that. Okay, you can just put that paper down in front of you. I'm going to give you 5 numbers. And I want you to put them in order from least to greatest, okay? 5 different numbers than the ones we just did. And remember, we are looking at that hundreds place first of all. Okay. So here are the 5 numbers. All right, 257. Now you're not going to write these on the lines. These are just the numbers that you're going to use. Well, you will write them on the lines, but not yet, because I don't have them in order. You're going to put them in order. Right now you're just looking at the numbers. 85, 148, and the last one, 239. Okay, here you have 5 numbers. Okay, what I want you to do is underline your hundreds place, if there is one. Compare and see if you can figure out which of these numbers is the least. Okay, go ahead. What you're going to do is you're going to do the same thing I did on the board. You're going to write those numbers in order on those lines from least to greatest. So which one is the least? Okay, I hope you wrote 85 because 85 doesn't even have a hundreds place, right? And I'm going to speed this up just so we don't take too long here. Okay, go ahead and write the next number. which number would come next in order from least to greatest? Look at your hundreds place. Okay, I hope you wrote 148. You had two numbers with 100, so you look at that next number, and this one would be the least. Okay, and then of course you know that this one would be next, 194. All right, so then we have two numbers left, 257, 239. Which one would come next? You're right, it would be 239, right? Because of the three tens. 239, and then your last one would be 257. Good job. Now I'd like for you to circle the median. Which of these numbers is the median? Right there in the middle. 194 is the median. Okay, good job, guys.